By any measure, the Ford Mach-E Mustang, what you see here, has been a technical success. It's quick, it's powerful, it's responsive, it's nimble, it's a comfortable car to drive, and it's really overall quite an impressive rig, right down to the 500+ kilometer range when you get the extended battery. The thing is, legacy automakers like Ford just can't make money on electric vehicles, at least not yet.
You've said that EVs should not be subsidized and automakers should push to profitably produce EVs. What do you see as a reasonable timeline for that?
5 years, the next generation of vehicles I think you're going to see, but you have to make a radical change as an OEM to get to a profitable EV. The first thing we have to do is really put all of our capital towards smaller, more affordable EVs. That's the duty cycle that we've now found that really matches. These big, huge, enormous EVs, they're never going to make money. The battery is $50,000. So we need to really redo our cycle plan to reflect what we've learned, smaller vehicles and commercial. Because people can have depot charging. If you're a plumber electrician, you know exactly what your route's going to be. It's repeatable. You don't overbuy the battery, so it's not super expensive. Retail customers are buying 300-mile batteries, never use them. Commercial, they use 95% of their battery every day.
So things have slowed in terms of electric vehicles from Ford, but that doesn't make the Mach-E Mustang any less interesting in a marketplace that is still limited to just a few SUVs of this size and type. What I particularly like about the Mach-E Mustang is its sharp handling, quick acceleration, and family-friendly comfort. And of course, there are some bespoke Mustang styling cues like the 3-bar taillights, really like that. And I also like the center screen, the big center screen, which has very good graphics. This brings me to pricing. The Mach-E starts in the low 50s and models range up to the low 70s. As you see, this GT model here, about $76,000 with a performance pack. And that really gives you a vehicle with 0 to 100 kilometer times in 3.5 seconds, more than 500 kilometers of range, and all sorts of comfort and luxury features inside, and inside a cabin that has a kind of Scandinavian design. Let me just throw a few numbers at you so you get a sense of the different performance characteristics of the Mach-E Mustang depending on how much you spend and which model you choose to buy. The basic model starts at in the low 50s and has a range of about 400 kilometers, and power is rated 264 horsepower and 387 pound-feet of torque. If you get all the way up to the GT model with the extended range and the GT Performance Package upgrade, well, range, it sits at about 451 kilometers, and the power is amazing, 480 horsepower and 700 pound-feet of torque. This model, of course, comes with standard all-wheel drive, but the less expensive Mach-E Mustangs come with rear-wheel drive with all-wheel drive, all-wheel drive optional. This rig's immediate competitors include Tesla's Model Y, which clearly is the best performance vehicle in its class, although some of the actual build quality elements, not so good. You also have Volkswagen's ID.4 and Hyundai's Ioniq 5. All of these offer a reasonably similar range of features, power, and pricing, which makes your task as an EV SUV shopper really quite complicated because you really need to test drive all of these models to get a sense for what's going to fit you best. I love driving the Mach-E Mustang on twisty roads. It's very, very responsive. The turn-in, very predictable. The brakes are solid. The acceleration, smooth and linear. But it does feel heavy, well, and it should because it's got a big heavy battery pack under the floor. This Mach-E is certainly easy to live with. It's a comfortable rig. There's a powerful, easy to use climate control system. The seats are good overall, but I would say the fronts need, they need a thigh cushion extender for long-legged drivers. The cabin is well insulated against wind and ambient noise, which means on the road it's very quiet. But the ride is a little bit busy when the pavement isn't great, and it certainly does feel stiff. So you only like this vehicle if you really like a vehicle that feels like a performance vehicle, not a mushy boulevard cruiser. I love this touch button door opening. It's very cool, although I do have to wonder, will it age well? Now, what's obvious As a standout feature in this cabin is the 15.5-inch touchscreen right in the center of the console. You also get very good seats. They're very well supported. There is a wireless charger system, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Wireless, that is standard here as well, which is excellent. And there's a lot of other technical features that are really worth noting. The navigation system, excellent. USB-A and C ports will charge your phone quickly. Over-the-air software updates, they are of course available. And Ford includes Blue Cruise for limited hands-free driving. In terms of functionality, it's about mid-pack. It's not always totally trustworthy as a hands-free driving feature. There's also adaptive cruise control, and that functions really well. And the surround view camera provides looks that are clear in the center screen. This cabin also has some very useful traditional controls, like a volume knob for the sound system. The cabin itself is very spacious, and even though the roofline is very fast, getting in and out, not a problem. Being a hatchback, well, what you're looking at here is a very useful opening. It makes getting things in here very, very easy, very flexible. And of course, the rear seats, they fold flat. So you'll be able to take a load home from IKEA or a couple of bags of hockey gear to the rink. Up front, there's also storage for your odds and ends, little cubbies here and there, and a two-tier storage design in the center console. Up front in this Mach-E, you'll also find a front trunk, a frunk, which is a bit small, but it does have a drain hole so you can use it as a cooler on a picnic. The Mach-E looks as new and as fresh and as modern as it did when it arrived a couple of years ago. The designers really hit all the right notes here. If you are shopping for a SUV, a smallish SUV, in this class, you really need to take this rig out for a test drive. Thanks for watching. I'm Jeremy Cato, and this is CatoCarGuy.com. We'll see you next time.